Hello, my name's Al Collins from Ultimation. Over the years, I have built numerous scale models, mostly out of wood, some styrene, some brass components, and hundreds of scale model parts. One of the largest frustrations or challenges, if you like, was to maintain the accuracy from piece to piece. The more complicated the model, the more pieces that needed to be exactly the same size or had exactly the same angles to produce a finished product. I used a 4-inch disc sander, power disc sander, to trim the ends of my components. And it seemed that a lot of them just weren't right. The angles were not 100%. The lengths varied. In attempts to rectify this by fine-tuning with the disc sander, the power sander, I ended up just with a larger pile of components that weren't quite right. The last couple of models I built, I used that disc sander, but I didn't plug it in. I simply turned the disc with my thumb. The results were quite a lot better, but I got a blister. I thought there must be a better idea. We came up with the Ultimation Sander, a very sturdily built tool designed specifically with model makers in mind. It's hand-powered, so you get infinite control of the amount of the aggressiveness, I suppose is a better word, of the sanding disc. It has a 5-inch disc. It takes automotive-grade peel and stick, pressure-sensitive adhesive sanding discs, readily available. Powder-coated steel base, polished and plated table for frictionless surface, sealed ball bearing movement, CNC machine spindle and bearing carrier, anodized aluminum for longevity. There's a protractor on the one end with a 90-degree sweep, 1 degree increments. You can split those increments. That gives you half a degree of accuracy or repeatability on the angles. If you're going to start working on a project and you want some nice square joints, the table and the disc are exactly at 90 degrees. Each one is checked and adjusted if necessary before it's shipped. You can set the protractor at 90 degrees. Piece of wood against the fence. Perfectly square end. That translates into a joint, perfect 90-degree angles, flat in this plane. And as you can see, the joint has no gaps. It's equally, the line is equal all the way around. Very little glue required because of the 100% contact of the wood on the joint. So without a lot of glue, you get a nice strong joint. You don't get glue stains, and you don't get glue oozing out onto your template. Angles are the same. Just a couple of pieces here I had in a bin. I'm not even sure what the angle is. We can check those. 44 degrees. So I can set that if that's the angle I want. I can do that one, and I can do that one. Should have this clamped down, but I have that one. And do that one. Can do numerous pieces that are exactly the same angle and exactly the same length, time after time after time. Works equally as well on styrene, brass structural shapes, aluminum structural shapes, white metal castings, brass castings, even plaster castings if you want to square something up before construction. As you progress, you can look at this is a bent from a rock shed or snow shed. You can see there's several, I believe there's 6 actually, different angles in here. And some of these pieces of timber, have 2 different angles on them. Actually 3, 2 on one end, 1 on the other. And they're all exact, front to back, Makes a beautiful joint. This is O scale. I model in O scale, but equally as accurate in HO for similar project. If you start progressing in your structure or you have multiple pieces, you can see how easy it is to keep everything nice and square and exact when each piece is exactly the same. They stack up nicely, they build a nice structure. Even on a more complicated, such as more complicated items such as this. This is actually part of a snow shed that Hunterline makes. Rick Hunter's a friend of mine, and I tease him a lot because this kit, it's a gorgeous kit when it's finished, but there is over 800 angles. There's 22 of these bents. I've had several people buy sanders that said, finally I can build that snow shed kit that I have because I have a way of creating all those angles. A finished product, or part of a finished product of that snow shed, is this. And again, as you can see, with the accuracy that you can build to now, you can accomplish a very nice model with everything being the same. You can just keep stacking them up. Less time to build the components, less wastage, and a finished product that is extremely nice. This little sander, as the name implies, is in fact the ultimate tool for model makers. And it's not limited to model railways, of course. That's just what I happen to do, but any hobby, any process that requires the fine-tuning and accuracy that can be accomplished, model boats, model planes, doll houses, ideal tool. Oh, one little point I forgot to mention, that going back to my blister on my thumb, we've put inlaid a rubber edge on this disc. So if you do want to fine tune with your thumb, it's got a nice rubber edge on it. I'll do some more videos coming up soon and do some instructional videos. And I'm going to do a video on actually building some of these bents for that snow shed. So stay tuned. Oh, just as an appendix, there is an adapter or an attachment we have for this called the repeater that I will show you next video that will actually allow you to make thousands and thousands if need be. If you get that big project you want to work on, make thousands and thousands of pieces exactly the same. Stay tuned. Thank you.